Hey, welcome back to Where Music Meets the Soul with my partner Ethan, and today we have Robert Carradine. So we're going to do a little Twilight Zone. We're going to pull ourselves back to 1981, and we're running around in college, and my number one thing was there was a show that came out was Revenge of the Nerds. And I thought, oh, this is so great because I was a civil engineer and all the hot-looking girls were only going out with the sports guys. And here we are. Well, hello, Robert. How are you today?
Well, Lance, just peachy, thank you.
So,
you know what? If I could correct you,
yeah.
1984.
Oh, 1981 is when I first went to college. That was when I was going through when you came out in 1984. I didn't graduate till 86.
Now, did you know that we rushed fraternities during Rush Week?
Yes, and I was the famous fraternity called GDI.
Did we rush your fraternity?
I was the goddamn independent, so we were the anti-fraternity.
Okay. Well, we got to one fraternity. All the fraternities had heard of us being on campus or coming to campus, except this one guy who was the head guy at a fraternity.
Yeah.
So the guy at the door that normally, monitors who goes in and goes out, he goes, "Hey, you know what? Biff doesn't know you guys are here. Come on." And he takes us in, and me and Anthony Edwards stand in front of Biff, who's got his back to us with a pith helmet on, 2 beers and tubes coming down to his mouth. And the guy goes, "Hey, Biff, these guys want to rush." He turns around, he looks at me, he looks at Anthony, he goes, "No way."
It's funny because back then I think about all the stories that I think that if I told them, I would probably belong in jail.
Wow, that's a good story.
So we had this thing where it was about shock value, and there was a school, and believe it or not, I'm so old. This is when they were first experimenting with putting girls and boys together in dorms, and they were sharing dorms.
They did that at U of A?
They did that at U of A at Coronado.
God, I wish I went to college.
So of course, what me and my friends did, because we knew we were never going to get laid anyway, so we would rub Vaseline all over our rear ends, and then we would go and put our butt prints on everybody's windshield.
Oh my God. That is really disgusting, especially if you got caught in the act.
Oh, the point was I think we were filming ourselves in the act.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were not the brightest of all then. Thank goodness there was no social media.
Oh,
Our
yeah.
social media is what you could see, and everything was plausible deniability.
Oh, man, that's really funny.
So you come from a heck of a family.
Yes, sir.
When you talk about everything that your family has done, and is it family acumen, or do you guys just, this is what you're supposed to do as the Carradine family?
Well, my dad used to say, "Son, it's a good thing I wasn't a cobbler, or you'd all be making shoes."
Well, you got a point.
So, yeah, we
My mom was a cake decorator. Maybe that's why I'm went to school to be a chef and engineer. Engineer was solely because I was lazy.
okay.
Because in engineering, it's all math, so you take the classes. So for the math, I didn't have to study. I knew the answer.
See, I have the highest respect for engineers. Every time I look at like some really cool thing, I look at it and I go, somebody had to draw that and then figure out how to build it, and then how all the little pieces are going to connect and how long they'll last. I mean, it's incredible to me. I think it's a black art. I'm very, very impressed.
Well, it's funny because it's when you get with a bunch of engineers what the conversation is so boring. Like we're talking about, like, oh, do you know how the Twin Towers collapsed? And we'll spend 3 hours on talking about the clips of the Twin Towers and the heating of it. And you can tell everybody else in the room is looking at us like, these guys are really strange.
Yeah, well, I have 2 sons-in-law that are engineers, so I know what I'm up against.
What kind of engineers are they?
Mechanical engineering and, for lack of a better word, computer shit.
Oh,
sorry about that. Computer
MIS
stuff.
Management Information Systems.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I think about like, I think about like all the stuff that we go through on a normal day.
Yeah.
And I can't even get over the fact that, like, so you have 2 daughters and 1 son?
That's correct.
And any of them into music? Because I read somewhere the Ramones were your favorite band.
That's incorrect.
You can't tell. Every time I try to do AI,
Yeah.
it's like they're lying to me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But getting back to my family,
Yeah.
my brother David was the first one that picked up the baton from my dad. And Keith went to Colorado State. He did one semester, and his major was drama. And he liked it so much, he left and went to New York, where he got a part in Hair. And the rest is history for Keith. Now, I didn't want to be an actor. All I wanted to be was a racing driver. And I was on Mulholland Drive every night for 5 years, from 16 to 20. And, I mean, just going for it. And the Cowboys came along.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it was in 1971, yeah.
That was with John Wayne, right?
Correct, John Wayne. And they wanted my brother David to play the bad guy. And he said, I'm not going to be the guy that shoots John Wayne in the back. So they got Bruce Dern, who was very happy to shoot John Wayne in the back. In fact, Bruce said to, John Wayne said to Bruce, you know, you're really going to be hated. He said, yeah, but they're going to love me in Berkeley. So that was Bruce's response. So anyway, I wound up getting that job, and I was like, wow, 15 weeks, $500 a week. I'm rich.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is a good way to earn a living.
That is a remarkable thing. So it happened to you. How old were you when that? Because it happened to me when I worked at House of Blues. I like trying to impress a girl, and I was like, oh my God, I am like an executive at a real company. It was the first time in my life that like maybe I made something of my life.
Ah, yeah,
and for
that
you,
feeling, yeah.
Is that the feeling when you sit there and you go, because it amazes me, because I said to you the first when we met was Revenge of the Nerds, were you happy you did it? And you said, of course. I wonder if your brother was happy he did Kung Fu. Because
Absolutely.
It permanently, like, that's who he was.
No, he was completely branded. I remember walking through the airport with him. Every single person that was walking toward us, I'd watch them, and they'd turn their head and they'd look. Everybody. I mean,
would he get that job today?
David?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Because he wasn't Asian.
Oh, right, the whole PC
yeah, because
thing.
that would be
Yeah,
like,
oh yeah, no, I know. Yeah, no, it's
but it's
crazy.
funny that I bonded with you because it was like Revenge of the Nerds filmed at the University of Arizona, and you guys were all the engineering students and they were all the sports people, and I was GDI and they were all Delta Chi, Sigma Chi. We knew all of those guys.
I was 30 years old when I did that film.
Is that funny?
Yeah, isn't it? Because we look, you know,
like you look
we
like
could
you're
have been
18.
19, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But a lot of the things, and we thought that film was so accurate because of the fact of going to school at U of A. We had the Spring Fling Summer, festival. That was a real thing. And
see, you just told me that. I had no idea that was based on in reality.
So the funniest thing is when you talk about U of A, I got thrown out of Apache Santa Cruz dorm because I would do these all-campus parties. So I was originally started these Red Cup parties where we would go and get beer. And in Tucson, they had this thing called slushies, where we would take grain alcohol and pour it in frozen flavors.
Yes.
And then we would sell everybody a cup for $5 when
then
they
they can
come
refill
in.
it whenever they want, right?
And then the people who set it up, we'd take all the money and we'd run because we'd leave the stereo there. We'd leave the beer, the tap, everything, but we just made back then $400 or $500 and we were gone.
Oh, wow, that's so cool. Now, you remember that place called Dirtbags?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, across the alley from Dirtbags was Rosa's.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we would be in Rosa's who didn't have liquor. So I would go over to Dirtbags, yeah, and I got for Curtis because he only drinks whiskey and soda.
Were you in Tucson for a long time?
Yeah, we were there for like 10 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, so I would go across to Dirtbags, and I would get Curtis a quart, like a pitcher of scotch and soda, because that's all he drank. The rest of us are drinking margaritas, Mexican food, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that was one of our haunts.
Our big thing in Tucson was Greasy Tony's.
I don't remember Greasy Tony's.
It was my first introduction to Philly cheesesteaks.
Oh man, that's a good thing to get introduced to.
Yeah, it's just like back then it was gaining weight as much as I can.
Well, that was for football, right?
Well, I weighed 285 pounds.
And you played football.
Yeah, and I got pushed around like a little girl. I have to tell you,
At
when
285.
At 285.
Man.
Well, when you run into a guy his name was Ricky Hunley,
Yeah.
and he was the biggest human being I ever saw or experienced in my life. And I remember running the 40-yard dash against him, and I just halfway through, he was like 4 yards in front of me. And
Wow.
that was my claim to fame. I was the fastest kid out there. And it's like for a guy that size just to blow by me like it was nothing.
Well, I remember I did this bicycle race from Durango, Colorado to Silverton.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on my totally bitchin', 14-speed bike. And I'm slugging up this hill in first gear because it had a 10,000-foot elevation. This chick passes me on a light speed, which is a carbon fiber bike, and she looked like she weighed 285. And she passed me. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Well, she's in better shape.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I trying to lose weight. Again, let me say we're here with Robert Carradine, and when I was trying to lose weight, I said no matter what I did, I could not lose weight because I had this like visceral fat around where I was hard on the outside, but on the inside I was just super overweight because I was running so much.
Liposuction, man.
Yeah.
That's a hot setup.
And what it is, the doctor said, stop running. Any kind you do over 15 minutes of running, you're wasting your time. And he had me lift weights, and I lost 85 pounds.
Wow, that's cool. Hey, so I got to tell you about this event coming up called Hollywood Goes to War. Yeah, it's
What is
coming
it
up.
about?
It's the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences is putting on this event where they're going to have some of the best war films ever made, and they're going to show them at the Academy Museum. This is sometime in September.
Or Saving Private Ryan kind of war shows? Or
Yes, exactly. Or The Big Red One, The Reconstruction, which is the war film I did, and which is the war film that I am attempting to get put into the streaming services and take out the one that came out originally. Because The Reconstruction put the film back to the way the director, Samuel Fuller, intended it.
Wow.
And it's a masterpiece.
Where's it being shown?
It's going to be shown at Hollywood Goes to War at the museum, the Academy Museum, in September.
In September?
Yeah.
Coming up here pretty quick.
Yes, sir.
That's very cool.
So if you want to tell your readers, listeners, whatever you call them, that
can you get tickets? What is it? A ticketed event?
I'm going to find out. I'll find out, and then I'll tell you, and then you can tell all your listeners. But if you want to tell me what you want to know, the Robert Carradine.
This is what I want to know.
Instagram.
I want to know if you will save us 2 tickets, so when we get closer to the event, we can offer out to maybe a winner.
Who's we?
We, as in the Canyon Club and
the
Saban
Canyon Club.
and
Cool.
Dolby and all the places that we now are responsible for.
Awesome. Yes. As soon as we know, my dear friend Ethan will bring us up to speed.
Yeah, it's I think the second weekend in September. We're at the museum for Hollywood Goes to War with a screening and a Q&A with you, and then you're at the Whittier Film Fest on the 20th with the Big Red One, which that's kind of seen as like one of the pivotal war films because you play Sam Fuller, and it's a movie based on his own experiences, and he directed it. So he directed you playing him going through his experiences.
Oh, yeah, man. You understand that Sam Fuller, the director, writer of that film, he went from North Africa to Auschwitz.
Yeah.
He survived the entire war. And somebody asked him once, they said, well, how'd you get there? He said, I walked.
Yeah.
That's great. So so that's coming up. We have that happening. So I do want to get it. Since Ramones are not your favorite band, who is your favorite band?
Probably, don't look at me cross-eyed when I tell you this, but it's probably James Taylor.
That's okay. You know, when I ran House of Blues, they brought in a new CEO, Greg, and I lost all respect for him when he said Ambrosia was his favorite band of all time. Because I thought to myself, you couldn't pick a better band.
Also, you got Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin. Hey, listen, to me it was always Stairway to Heaven.
Yes, absolutely.
You know how I locked down my wife?
No, I don't.
I sent her on my pager, for those of you who want to know how old we are, on my pager, I sent to her all of the words to Stairway to Heaven.
Wow, that took
And she
some
said
time.
she was back in New York and crying as she was reading, because you know how it would only give you like 26 characters at a time.
Yeah, right.
And you had to read it. And, you know, and my favorite joke is Dave Hewitt, which was on our show earlier. Up until probably 5 years ago, he walked around with a pager on.
Wow, that's cool.
Is that, I
That's
think we
really
should
cool.
bring that back.
I think we should too, man. I think they're happening.
Because you
Yeah.
never know when you might get a phone call from 1985.
It could
Yeah.
happen, man. Hey, so did you ever see the Kennedy honors where they honored Led Zeppelin and Hart did the
No.
singing?
I couldn't imagine that, because Hart, they don't get along, right?
Well, I'll tell you what. You YouTube that.
Yeah.
And Nancy on the guitar. Oh my God! And what's the other one's name?
And
And
Ann. She did the singing, or it might be the other way around. I don't know which one's which, but it is incredible piece of.
And I have to be
music
honest
video.
with you, that we only like them when they're fighting.
Ah.
Because then we get Anne,
Uh huh.
and we can afford her, and
Yeah.
keep the ticket down.
Right.
And then we get Nancy. So they play us individually. Together,
Yeah.
they're a powerhouse. Because I
Wow.
remember when they toured the first time, probably 20 years ago, they hadn't toured in a while. We put it up on sale because it was the first time I ever paid $100,000 for a band. And I was just so like, this is way out of my league.
That's very freaky.
Yeah, and then we bought them. They got into a fight, and then they canceled the show or something. I was like, and that's when we realized I'd rather have them individually because they aren't fighting.
Wow, wow. Well, if you could stand it, this is a great piece of video, and they keep cutting to the Led Zeppelin guys up in
Uh-huh.
in the foyer, you know, looking down, and you could see like a tear come to Brian May's eye. Is it Brian May?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's an incredible piece of footage. So
but you and I also are at the age where we grew up with MTV, which was really MTV.
well, also I did a MTV video with the motels with Martha Davis.
that's right.
You did, and aren't they coming soon?
Yeah.
Lou, Martha Davis, what a great. Her and I have become friends. What a great person.
Are you actually friends with her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please tell her I
Stop
said
smoking.
hello.
No, why don't you show up, Robert, on the gig?
Yeah,
at the
come on,
gig
come to the gig, and
Where's the gig?
at the Canyon Club
in Agora,
in Agora,
When?
It's in August.
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 August what?
It's on the paper.
Oh my! It's
Well-
on your. Oh wait, here.
I don't have my
I'll
notes.
find out when we're off the air.
Let's get a photo that goes back to the video. Let's match you guys up again now.
Oh
to them.
God. Okay, I'll have to shave for
August
that.
16th.
August 16th.
But she was just what a powerhouse.
She is amazing.
Yeah,
She-
amazing.
And the
person.
only time I ever get, well, stop smoking. That's
Yeah.
all I say. So, so that's great. So you were in that video?
Yes, I
And-
was
and-
Martha Davis's lover.
Oh, did you have a sex scene?
Well, I think we had a kiss.
Oh, okay.
And
And
nothing.
oh, I definitely felt.
You wanted to
I
do
felt
wife
it,
swap
yes.
there,
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
So, but I hear you're quite the race car driver. Is that true?
I got adept at it. I've won 3 championships in my 20-year career, and
That's crazy.
I've gotten to drive some really bitchin' cars.
And does someone else own them? I imagine it's got to
Yeah, I
be the
didn't-
most expensive.
No, I didn't own them, but my first series that I won, I was in a rented race car, and that go through all the motions over the next few years, and then they came up with a racing series called the Corvette Challenge. And the first year, I didn't own the car; it was owned by Tom Bell Motorsports in Redlands. And then the second year, I wasn't going to do the second year because I felt the series was tilted. Like people were getting away with stuff because they were supposed to be stock.
Was that
Corvettes.
the same one as Kenny Wayne Shepherd was riding in that one?
I don't know. who
Because
that
Kenny
is.
races cars too.
Okay. But the second year,
Yeah.
I went to the second race to visit a friend of mine. It was up in Sonoma at Sears Point Raceway. And I was like, man, I want to do this. So I went over to the guy that was the promoter. He had one car left. I bought the car, and we stickered it up, and I put it on the pole. So that was pretty cool.
That's got to be great. And what an adrenaline rush it must be to be. How fast are you going? 200 miles an hour?
Oh, no, not in the Corvettes. I think that the most we saw in the Corvettes is maybe 145.
Really?
Yeah.
And how big is the track? Is it-
Depends. At Road America, it's like a 4.5 mile track, and Sears Point is 3 miles. And I think the shortest track was Detroit, and it was 2.1 miles.
So, and you also there was something about living off the grid.
Ah, the living off the grid thing on the wife swap thing?
Yeah, what was that?
That is complete BS.
Oh, it is?
Oh, yeah. It was entirely made up. The whole thing was just basically a trip to Fiji.
Oh, really?
Or not Fiji. Yeah, Fiji water.
Is that supposedly where
Tahiti.
he lived?
I supposedly lived on an island the size of a parking lot with an outdoor commode.
Really?
Oh, man.
That was the beginning of reality TV where it had nothing to do with reality.
Exactly. Oh,
I
man.
remember when we first opened the Canyon Club, we used to do every dating show, every single dating show that was on MTV, on VH1, back 2 and 2, they filmed it at the Canyon Club.
Wow.
And we would sit back in the back room and listen to the producers coach the people, and then we would watch them walk out, repeat exactly what they were doing, and we were like, oh my goodness gracious, nothing that you see on TV is real.
Basically not.
Yeah, it's...
Well, because I did a reality show with Curtis Armstrong called King of the Nerds. We had a script.
Right.
Yeah.
And isn't that the whole base, the reality TV, you don't have a script?
Well, yeah, one would think. In our situation, we had a script, but we would go off script often.
Well, the crazy thing is, all of this is kind of a spawn off the Kardashians, isn't it?
I think so, because, man, they set the die.
Yeah, I mean, people forget prior to that and how they became famous, and then you find out afterwards that everybody was involved and everybody knew, and then you just realize you're the sucker.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're the sucker for believing it, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Does
You know,
it?
one of those Kardashians is a billionaire. One of the
It's
girls.
the younger one.
Is it the
It's
younger
not
one?
Kim. It's the one that has the cosmetic line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she is unbelievable. And, the big thing on social media, somebody asked her, like, all of her plastic surgery, and she ripped off everything that she ever had done to herself.
Wow.
Which you think, and you forget that they're only famous because of a sex tape.
Yeah.
And you just lean into it. And my
God, if only
my
I could
wife,
have sex, I could have a tape.
I think the sex tape would end my career. Plausible, that was AI. That obviously wasn't me.
Yeah, right. I hear you, man.
Well, it's funny because watching TikTok or watching anything, all those girls, I know are AI. You can tell the way they're moving.
Yeah,
You know
they're
what I
not
mean?
moving like real people.
Yeah, because if you could move your hips that way, you'd be the most famous person in the world.
Indeed.
Because your hips don't move that way and you can't twist your body in that way.
No. Unless
And,
you're Michael Jackson, then you can.
Oh, I miss Michael.
Oh, man, he was such a talent.
I thought he was. I remember I was at a show where it was Michael Jackson, Casey Kasem, and it was in Pasadena at that old convention center, and it was just so amazing. I was such a big fan of Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish he'd have stopped about halfway through his facial reconstruction endeavors.
Yeah, but I fully accept the fact of body dysmorphia. I mean, I completely understand. Because even today, like, the skinniest people walk up to you and they think they're fat. What I get amazed about is when you see those TikToks of this obviously beast of a person
Right.
talking about, like, how much men or women love her. And you're
Wow.
thinking to yourself, I would love to have that self-confidence.
Phew.
And to me, I have to move mirrors different ways because I can't even stand looking at myself in a mirror. It's
Well,
like,
I would tell
know.
you how much I spent on plastic surgery, but I'm keeping it secret.
I think you should fire your plastic surgeon.
No, man, I look like this on purpose.
So you get typecast?
All the time, man.
Well, and that goes to saying that is I'm looking at you and you automatically exude nerd because of the fact that I saw you in 4 movies where you were a nerd.
Well, also, the funny thing about it is that I talked to my son today who lives in Europe, and I said, well, because he's talking about, is the Big Red One, the reconstruction, your favorite performance? I said, yeah, I think it is, but, there's always the nerd because I'm really not a nerd.
You don't
For the
strike
most
me
part.
as a nerd.
and that cracked him up because I am nerdy. I used to build and fly model airplanes.
And all of
control.
those things are important. That's not nerdy, is it?
To
Is it
build
are
and
you a
fly
nerd?
remote-
I was going to say, are you a nerd when you don't think it's nerdy?
I'm a nerd, man.
But were you ever a video game person? Because to
no,
me,
I'm not into video games.
don't mind being called a nerd. I don't want to be a video game person.
No, me either.
Yeah.
In fact, my brother Keith, the last time I moved, he gifted me with a television, and he said, "Whatever you do, do not buy a PlayStation." I said, "No worries, man. I'm not going to buy a PlayStation."
But my kids are like obsessed with videos.
Well, of course they are. They grew up on them.
And the crazy thing is, like, I'll see them playing videos, and then and then I see them talking to their friends at the same time, and it's so beyond what I
No, it's-
understood that
it-
they're actually having social interaction playing video games.
Yeah, no, it's beyond. I remember my son when he was still here in the States. I'd have trouble with my computer or my phone or something, and I'd say, "God, I really wish I could get the hang of this." And he said, "Pop, it's not your generation."
That's right.
He's so true because they grew up on it.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me because I always thought Steve Jobs was so brilliant because he thought and knew what I needed prior to me knowing to know what I needed. Because when he would do updates on phones, I'd go, "Oh, that makes it easier."
Yeah.
Now when they do update on a phone, all the old people go, "Oh, damn updates. I don't know how to get my email. I don't know how to answer the phone anymore."
You know the comedian Bill Burr?
Yes, love
Yes. He talks about Steve Jobs and he says he didn't build anything. He looked at his entire record collection and said to the engineer, he said, "I want that into that." You know, an iPhone, right?
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And still today, that my only last thing I want to say is, I used to buy videos. So when MTV came out, remember you on Apple Music, you for $2.99 you could buy the video. So I bought all the Milli Vanilli videos,
You have those?
and I have them, and they've been
Oh.
trying to get them back for me. So I have like all these backup copies hidden.
Oh, that's so great that you have those.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for coming in. We're here with Robert Carradine, and this is where music meets the soul. And do we have time to talk about anything coming up here?
Well,
Well, you got the Big Red One coming up at both the museum and the Whittier Film Fest.
the
and
Big Red One, the reconstruction.
the reconstruction, correct.
Got to say it right.
With Mark Hamill.
Yeah, with Mark Hamill.
And then, you, of course, you're also a part of the Combat Radio Christmas Carol with Ron Perlman and Paul Reiser at the Savant.
Okay. Tell me about that when we're off air.
And, of course, everything can be found at the Where the Music Meets the Soul website for all the upcoming dates, including the motels with Robert.
Oh, my
In
God. I
August.
can't wait to see Martha.
All right. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, Lance,